couple months and years, but
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
every day it's every day it's something in the news. They're trying to block us from traveling. I think today the U.S. government just said African visas are restricted. They didn't specific. They didn't specify which countries. They just said African.
Mm-hmm.
So they're seeing everything we're doing and they're trying to block it. So African visas restricted. Grenada and Cuba is today.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to get people on one board in Nigeria on one page, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not on one page, even though they're in the same country. Things are just so I was thinking that based on the response, it
Mm-hmm.
might be better for me to just organize people in the USA, maybe who have ties to Nigeria to travel. But at the same time, the government here is changing laws every time we look. Every day, it's a new law in a black country.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, the system there right now is not very friendly. So the best we can do is what you had just suggested: identify secretaries or liaisons
hmm
who can be tasked with the responsibility of slowly but patiently coordinating activities in the various cities and counties.
yeah, even
Uh,
that's exactly. It's but then at the same time, if people were structured correctly in Nigeria, I think one brother is. But if they have been had even just put it on paper, I'm the secretary. They could administrate the USA or the Caribbean just from there, just saying this is the secretary's blah blah, and
mhm,
they
mhm,
could say this is the format we're using, this is the program we're using, and I think we have a
mhm.
secretary in Jamaica, the Maroon secretary, and others who are saying they want to follow a constitution, uh, and I think we have one secretary in Nigeria that's active. Then we have some people who are tied to the government or the traditional kingdoms. They have their own secretary,
Mhm,
so it's really Igbo land. That's really they have 1,000
mhm,
different
mhm.
kingdoms, and they're the ones that are hard to organize. So this was an emergency call, try to see how to move forward, and you picked up. So, and you're a secretary of your community. So I'm looking at people over here in the USA in a few cities that can work with you guys
Mhm.
and just move forward.
That's true.
Yeah, I think
There are two
tomorrow.
things.
Yeah.
There are two things. There are two things that need to be done. Once we have identified the secretaries, then you can once in a while be calling them to find out how far they are going on
And I
in
was thinking, I was
recruiting.
thinking, I was thinking more so if they like you have a secretary, I could just put maybe a group of people here together to work with you as a secretary. Everybody follows the
Mhm,
same format. That means it's a structure where it's an umbrella organization. Everybody could come into the town hall, or it could
mhm.
start growing under the town hall as long as
Correct.
it's a secretary or it's the king is the chairman or something like that. That's a basic format.
Mhm.
So it's already in Nigerian government. It's already structured that way, or it's already structured that way in the
Okay.
indigenous communities. But they're not
Mhm,
they're not
mhm.
coming on board fast enough as far as putting things to paper. So um,
No,
I, yeah,
let's start. Let's start somewhere. Let's start somewhere. Wherever we can start something small, no problem. I have somebody from Nigeria. I'm most likely meeting tomorrow here, and somebody from Texas. They came here for a devolution conference of the governors of Kenya.
mm,
So because I arrived here today from Uganda, so I'm going to be meeting them tomorrow. Uh, they are also involved in natural resource issues with me, and now expanding also on coffee farming, because I want to encourage, you know, building relations around a trade element. When you brought the gentleman of cocoa, I have expanded the growing of cocoa. I think in the next 3-4 years, we should be able to begin discussing how to export. But I am doing it in really across clans in the 3 countries.
You still have his
And
contact?
yeah, I still have his contact.
Okay.
Because he told me he's in touch. He's running an organization called the Friends of the Congo. And so I say that's a good one. So now, because when you have a product in which you trade upon, then you can be able to make some money. I need also to build relations with people who can do small scale mining and trade, say, on gemstones here and there, because there are some things that you can trade that are available at the community level, but you need to have somewhere to sell so that you can make some money.
I don't know if this might help, but one of the groups that used to work with Marcus Garvey, they changed their name. They're called the National Business League. National Business League in USA. So I'm assuming they have the most access to skilled labor like that, mining, or they know how to find it. They also have mayors, black mayors conference, which is assembly of black mayors. I think that could be something where they could bring things to their communities or help things expand. Some of the mayors, they create sister city programs with I think the one near me, Savannah, they created one with Accra. Another one of the black mayors created a sister city with Cap Haitian in Haiti. When it was a kingdom, that was the capital. So black mayors, they try to create access to different nationalities and dual nationality for black citizens because of the slavery situation and the kidnapping and stripping of their nationality. They try to give people access to different nationalities. The black mayors, they have a conference. So this is something the U.S. government is always trying to shut down. Greetings, Trevor. We have a brother from Zambia we've been talking for years. Greetings. Greetings, Trevor. Can you hear us?
Greetings. I'm able to hear people.
Oh, we have Honorable Emma Beer Gabriel Opalot. He's a government organizer with the Ateker Kingdoms and clans in Northeast Africa. He works with the government in Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, I think Tanzania, East African Federation. So he has access to a lot of governments in East Africa. And we've been saying this for years. The UNIA was based on traditional kingdoms and tribes coming together to build. So I don't know if you have access to the traditional kings, Trevor, but this was a call to connect people. So I don't have to be, so if, it won't work if I just keep being a dictator and telling people what to do. People have to talk to each other. And then the next generation will have the system of Africans talking to each other. So I don't know, Trevor, if you have access to kings that you could connect Zambia to Uganda and East Africa. But that was the call was about connecting people.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I think on my side, I'm more connected to traditional leaders, not really the government. Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, like let's say Zambia.
So this would be somebody to work with because Zambia. I know Zambia. I don't know. Maybe you can explain Kazungula district. You know what I'm talking about, Trevor? Kazungula.
Oh, yes, yeah. Kazungula, it's a district which is connected to about 4 countries. Like, so that area, all the regional leaders, they're really in support there.
And Zambia, Zimbabwe. It's an area where 4 countries meet: Zambia, Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
So there's been discussions of federation or bilateral agreements. Lastly, by Zimbabwe and Botswana. Botswana spoke highly of Ibrahim Traore, and they're seeing how they could make things move faster, take control of their diamond minings in Botswana. So they're looking at more moving towards a federation, but and you know what that happens when we try to do that. So it's easy. It's easier if it goes through the traditional kings, where we have 100 kings or 1,000 kingdoms. Instead of putting it on one leader, where they try to take him out, and nobody in the grassroots knows what's going on. So we try to educate the grassroots first, and have the president or chairman as a spokesperson. So, or in the West Africa with the military generals, at least we need to educate the grassroots and keep them empowered. So this is just connecting. I guess this call now Zambia, connect with Uganda and East Africa. So when
Yeah,
we hang up, you guys could talk to each other and build the connections. The secretary and the kings list, just like ancient Egypt, we need a kings list. You need to write it down and just work together. Because tomorrow I'm going to be on a call with the stock market, and then as I go forward, I'm going to keep adding more people in the USA, calling them and saying, "This is who we have in Africa. This is the structure." So
Oh, yeah, wonderful.
Trevor,
Yes, yes.
you know, what is going on now, what is happening between Namibia, Botswana, and Zambia, it is an active unit of SADC, because SADC has been very much working hard with the EAC, the East African community, on issues of resolving the conflicts in Congo. So I think we should be able to establish a coordination mechanism around traditional institutions, not necessarily in the context of pursuing just culture, but reinforcing the efforts that are now ongoing, so that we are able to have a easy networking in terms of trade, easy networking in terms of linkages with the African diaspora for economic interest, and also unity and settlement. So we need to have that linkage quickly worked out, because it's already there, but at the cultural level, it is not very vibrant. It is active at the political level, but political also, it is the leaders, not the people. And when the people are not involved, it's not easy to see its fruits. So we need to find ways of engaging the people, like my brother Confidence has said, the people need to be educated. But education for what? Education so that they can rely on themselves. Because everywhere in the world, the black man is not a friend. People are looking at how to dismantle his cohesion so that they can benefit.
And also
So they're working again.
I just wanted to say the issue of mineral resources is strong in Uganda with the traditional leaders, but that should be in Congo as well, DRC, because that would help take away the impetus for the multinational companies and governments to loot Congo. If there's an agreement with the traditional leaders and communities, this is how we're going to share the resources in SADC or EAC, DRC is in both of them. If we could decentralize control of the minerals to the communities and educate the communities that this is how it's going to empower, the people within this federation, within this association, we're going to distribute the minerals amongst the people, everybody. It's a commonwealth of the kings or villages. And so we have a focus on this, because it's not hard to focus on the DRC and the mineral resources and add Botswana and, all these mineral-rich resources, Uganda. That's not hard to have a conversation on that. I know Rwanda was a kingdom at one point and they exiled the king, but that structure has to be re-examined if we're going to have development in Africa. What's going on in DRC is crazy. And Zambia crosses over. I think, Brother Trevor, you're from Barotsi Kingdom.
Yes, yes. Yeah, from Barasi Kingdom. So I think on the grassroots, with the traditionally, I think it's more easier in Zambia. Yeah, politically it can be like it has been coined, but traditionally I guess we are still behind. But it's something that we need to start from.
So you'll be able to connect.
Like
You will be able to connect Barotsi to Brother Opalot. I don't know if you'd be acting as secretary and keeping documents, but we have a constitution where the secretary is the minimum. People are keeping documents and reading the documents and making sure everyone's following the same structure so it could grow.
oh yes, that can be worked out. It's something that we need to start doing. Yeah, I guess with the connection with Brother Gabriel, then things can be at a different level now.
I have been in Lusaka. I came in Lusaka when I was a student leader. So I have been in Lusaka. I had an opportunity to even go to some areas of, I think, Copper Belt area there. And I have somebody who I think they are having a mining activity, a community mining activity in one section of Zambia. I think by this year, maybe two people are coming from the States, and then somebody is crossing from Kenya to Zambia. So at the traditional level, I think it's easy for us to connect. We just need to continue recruiting region by region until we have the meetings of the people. Zambia is a neighbor to Tanzania, so it's easy to connect to the East African community because Tanzania doubles, is both a member of SADC, just like DRC, and a member of EAC. So I think what this brings to on the side of Trevor, you need to identify more progressives on that side. I will take up the initiative of coordinating. Secretarial responsibility is not a bad proposal, so that we can build a database, and then we come up with a few action activities that we can do. Maybe a small visit to your area, maybe a small visit, an invitation to this side, to either we can have a meeting in Nairobi, we can have a meeting in Kampala, or we can have a meeting in my own community area. So that is possible. Now, what Brother Confidence is doing is a tremendous commitment. He has never given up. I have seen him add me from one group to another, one discussion forum to another. Amidst all challenges, I see him making a move, and nobody can do such a thing unless there's a calling for it. These are voluntary initiatives, but unless it is in your own system, it is spiritually inbuilt in you, you cannot persist this far. And that's why I have taken it up seriously. This is the right calling if we had to survive. It's a survival struggle. survival struggle. Thank you.
Oh yeah. But the confidence has been I've really experienced him. He's been group after another group, discussion after discussion, and look at now. He's still here. Different. We need to put it up now. Yeah, with the diplomatic connection that you have, hey, let's get it from there. I think Zambia will be settled. The way Zambia is positioned, and meaning the southern party, the SADC, and we are way to go. Because initially, traditionally, even Zimbabwe, we are connected to Zambia, Botswana, and also Namibia. We share a lot of traditional leaders that are in Zimbabwe, but they control the Zambian party. So this is a good strategy for us. We really can go through it.
Okay. Brother, confidence. The nightmare is always on money. We have to find a way of going around the money issue. That is why you see me emphasizing on the within our own communities, we have artisanal mining going on, and I have been very much busy meeting people who are buying some of the minerals we have in Kampala, and then connecting communities to them so that in our cultural setting, we are able to earn a small percentage or a small commission on behalf of the transactions that allows us to run our initiatives. By next year, I am anticipating to roll out to planting of over 250,000 seedlings of cocoa and coffee across the clan network. I am really trying my best to raise the seedlings myself across the networks, community groups. But at the same time, I am using the artisanal mining groups to make some small commission out of every transaction. Actually, by Sunday, I hope to be in Uganda. I have somebody from the US who has some small money. He wants to see how we are mining. And I want to take him to the village. I have told him that if you have money for buying 100 grams, please, you buy 100 grams. Per gram, you leave something to our administration to run the activities. So if we have such efforts, because if it's at the government level, we don't get anything. But if it's at traditional level, it's easy to get because the person comes to that particular local setting. He buys 100 grams. He buys 200 grams of gold. He can now leave maybe $500 to their local administration. You can transform that $500 into seedlings, into a meeting of clan members, into a training program. These are the type of people I really need us to start looking for among our own. Somebody who has, say, his $10,000 is $15,000. He can be arranged. That person can come over to the community. We can make him a local buyer. He can buy from small as he works with the community, and he takes to sell within a nearby refineries. That small difference can be used to inject into our organization of activities. We can use it even for making, applying for visas and allowing volunteers to come. There are young men who can be, it may be difficult for the African to go to the United States, given the current administration of Trump. But it is possible for the American to come to Africa. But when he comes to Africa, he comes in as a volunteer. He can be taken into the community. He works with the rest of the other young people to handle one project. So between now and maybe when the next visit, we would try to identify small projects which the young people from the United States, from the Caribbean, can be prepared to come and do in Africa, in Nigeria, in Zambia, in West Africa, in Burkina Faso. This is possible, but there has to be some small money to facilitate this, and we can't go and beg from our enemies. They will never give us, they will frustrate us. So unless we fix that aspect of money, a fund, I like, Brother Confidence, when you bring the aspect of stocks. Why don't you have a company established, say, in the States, and also can have another established in Africa, where, and then people buy stocks, they buy shares. They don't have to be in Africa, but they can buy shares, and those shares can be used to pool resources in order to do a trade activity. Set up a chocolate assembling unit, a storehouse for coffee, set up coffee cafes in Zambia, in Lusaka. If we have 20 cafes that are raising us $20 every day, it can run a system. We can have a cultural-based government running without anybody giving us a coin, but is running on an economic platform. So that's what I'm just exploring, those ideas that I thought, let's work around those activities. We should be able to say, okay, we are going to get a passport for Brother Confidence, a Ugandan passport, a South Sudanese passport, a Zambian passport. We can apply and get that passport and send. You don't need, you can just come in here and continue the activity. That is possible. But there has to be a money. These fellows run businesses. That's why they control us. And we don't run businesses. And we don't run a business, then you will be forced to beg from those who have the money. And begging means losing control. Thank you.
Oh yeah, just to add on Brother Gabriel, I think initially, let's say like here in Zambia, the mineral sector, is politically controlled. But on a part of agriculture, I guess in Zambia we were a step ahead, because initially me myself, I'm entitled to about 10 hectares of land, of which right now I'm not using it because of the lack of proper resources to do agriculture. So if we were to just look around it for as an organization, I guess we can start from somewhere, So about 10 hectares of agricultural land, which is not being used under me. So if we were just to run around, I guess we can get up to there. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with everything. When I organize here in Jacksonville, I believe I'll be able to get those kind of people who are interested in agriculture and things like that. But one of the things we do is we'll be teaching stock market to people where it becomes cultural in Africa. And I think, Brother Trevor, that Zambia, I don't know if Zambia is a country that's surrounded by 6 or 7 other countries, but I think it's Zambia, or one of these countries. I think Zambia is the country that's surrounded by 7 other countries, and the cultures are very closely connected. Botswana, Barotsi, Katanga, Ndebele land, Mashona land. So Zambia is very strategic. I've had people in Jacksonville, even we had conversations for years about Zambia. I think one doctor, Professor Baruti Katembo, is active in Barotsi land University for a couple of years now. We're in the same city, but we don't collaborate. But Zambia is very strategic because it's the same area as Botswana with the diamonds and minerals. But I think South Africa with the European population and the way they stole the minerals and land, it makes those conversations very difficult. So if we focus on, but if we host it in Zambia and Botswana, we can get to South Africa eventually. But we'd have to. I think we'd have to begin those conversations in Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe before approaching South Africa, because the situation there is so crazy. But we'll get to South Africa eventually. But I don't think it can host or lead the conversation. Everybody knows how this land's been stolen and the resources, De Beers and all that. It's. I think we have to start in Zambia and the Kazungula district countries. So this is a good call, brother Emma Beer. If you work with him, things will develop, because we need to have headquarters. Nigeria, I put the call to everybody, they're not here. So that's been a big problem. So we have Uganda. We have a brother in Uganda, he's not here. But if we have Uganda and Zambia working together, we can also put a call out to, or we have Burkina Faso on the Sahel Alliance. That's very professional. We have the Mono River Union. I think I have a presidential candidate. They're related communities. So that's 7 countries right there where we can make the same presentation. And I think I have somebody in Gambia, and they have a Senegal Gambia press secretariat where they act as a federation on certain levels. So that could be 7 to 9 countries in West Africa, 7 to 9, and even without Nigeria. But Nigeria, I guess, have to come on board eventually. A lot of the headquarters are there, but I'll reach out to them again. It's the fact that some of the headquarters there don't work together, that's it demoralizes people. So sometimes I got to check in on them. But we'll see how to get around that. I think if I organize in USA, I could get more professional people from Nigeria to take this on more seriously. But I want to thank you guys for the call. And what I'm going to do now, I have a Caribbean group. They have secretaries and maroons, and we could follow up a conversation with the Caribbean. But I'm still working on the USA, and now I got to check on Nigeria, what's going on with them, because sometimes it's hard. We got to start calling out time, saying we're going to be available this time, or people call each other when I'm not around, and so I can bring new people to the table and say, this is the leadership. I can't, if I call on USA people now and I say we're working with Nigeria is not on the call, it looks crazy. So I think I could build a USA team. I have a Caribbean network, and they have governments. So I think the Caribbean is accounted for. The Eastern Caribbean states signed a deal with Nigeria, basically trying to become a federation. So that's what's going on. That's why a lot of visas are getting restricted. They're saying that U.S. government is saying Cuban doctors, there's a scheme, Cuban doctors are being used to steal resources from Cuban people. It's something crazy. They don't want Cuba, and they don't want the Caribbean and Africa working together. That's what it is. So they're always destabilizing something in these black countries. So that's my opinion. But we can close the call, Brother Trevor. You would be able to get Barotsi land in contact with Brother Amir of the Ateker Kingdoms, Barotsi land community.
Yes.
What other communities
Yeah,
are
the
there?
Brazilian community.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say the way Zambia is outlined there traditionally, I think it's more of like intertwined, because every location has got some traditional leaders, of which it's very much easy to approach them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so with this, I guess with more calls, we will start from there. Yes, something that is workable. Yes.
And Brother Emma Beer can present the credentials. Now, tomorrow, would anybody, I know it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, would anybody be able to attend a meeting or a webinar because it would be a web presentation about stock options, how to make money with computers, how to create finance.
Okay. No, that
But
1 o'clock your time. That's what you're saying.
it'll be 7 p.m., which is it'll probably be in the morning a.m. for you guys. So I know it's not my schedule, but somebody presented it at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that'd be 3 hours from now, which is probably 4 a.m. in your time or something like that.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know, Trevor. Is that fine with you?
Yes, so I can also catch up with that. So it's on what platform?
I'll present it. It's a link where you can sign up, but I think it would be a beginning of just working out if this could apply to your if you have computer programs. Africans are very smart with computers and very mechanical. If we could create a system where people can snap their fingers and generate finances without that, it would take Africa to the next level, especially on the cultural level where these kingdoms are right next door to each other, just like the Sahel was overnight. If we get computer programs where we learn finance, it'll be overnight success. It would change the game. Well, I could expect the USA to change the laws if we learn, but while it's still legal, we could look at it if we could get.
All right.
So I'll share the link again. It'll be tomorrow. I'll share the link. You just sign up and try to attend. But I know it's 7 Eastern time is like 7 hours. That might be 2 a.m. for you guys or something like that. But I'll share the link and
All right.
we can verbally agree that Zambia and Ateker kingdoms, East Africa and South Africa are working together now. And I do have the documents with. I don't know if you guys want to talk to Burkina Faso. I have they speak French. I have the president of the federation as far as he's a minister. He's a minister of connecting these countries. But the issue is a lot of these communities on a cultural level, they're northern Nigerians. So we make a call and Nigeria doesn't show up, that's a problem. If you make a family reunion and they don't show up, that's what it is. We're having a family reunion and people aren't showing up. So Nigeria is being irresponsible. So I don't know. I have to look into Nigeria again. I apologize, but thank you guys for the call. I'll save it, and we'll say that Uganda and Zambia are working together, or East Africa and South Africa. So because Kazungula district, and I'll share the link later today or tomorrow. But thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll
Thank you
follow
so
up with
much.
USA and Caribbean too, but Nigeria I have to look what's going on there. But thank you.
All right. Okay.